Our Arise International correspondent, Adefemi Akinsoya, is now joining us from Mar-a-Lago, the country resort of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump in Florida. She joins us now for a little update on the post-election activities of Mr. Trump. Adefemi, it's always good to have you here on Newsday. Could you give us an update on what is going on at Mar-a-Lago and the activities around the new elected president?
Thank you so much, Howard. So good to hear your voice. Goodness gracious. Yes, we are in West Palm Beach, Florida. We are here, just stood over from Mar-a-Lago, Trump's official residence. Now, if you can just see over my shoulder, that light brown building there, that is the Trump compound, and all of this area constitutes the Mar-a-Lago resort. So you can imagine that there's a lot of anticipation in this area just to hear what Donald Trump has to say in terms of the plans for his new administration. One of the major updates that we've already heard is that he has picked a chief of staff, Susie Wiles, they call her here in Florida, and she is 67 years old and has been a veteran when it comes to Florida politics. Now, her relationship with Donald Trump did begin back in his 2016 campaign. She helped him secure Florida during that election. And let's not forget too, with Florida State Governor Ron DeSantis, he also leaned quite heavily on Susie Wiles in order to deliver the state for his governorship election back in 2016 and 2018. That being said, they did have a falling out around 2019, which saw her kind of be pushed out from the Trump fold, but clearly she has been brought back in from 2020 and has been able to market herself as a real loyal voice around Donald Trump, and he has rewarded her with this chief of staff position. If that does continue to be the case come inauguration, Susie Wiles will be the first woman in US history to be a sitting president's chief of staff. So quite a historic position there. And then going on looking towards the rest of his transition, there's still high anticipation on who he's going to choose for his so-called cabinet around him. Let us not forget that Donald Trump himself has huge legal issues before him. So his pick for Attorney General, for example, will be quite vital. And it will be interesting to see who he chooses, whether or not he's going to continue to align himself with allies, people who he feels safe with. Because coming back to Susie Wiles, she is definitely someone who plays this game of a supporter, of a loyalist to Donald Trump quite well. She said quite openly that it is not her intention, that she has no desire to control Trump, but for her, her main responsibility is controlling everything around him. So she is going to be the real veteran in the incoming President Trump and other members of his team. She's going to be the siphon, really the filter, to make sure that the ideas that are getting to the new president will be ones that he can implement once for America's political future. So as it stands here in West Palm Beach, Florida, a lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement on the ground. This is, of course, a red state, a traditionally red state, one where the people here did vote overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. So naturally, you can imagine that there's a lot of positivity here and a lot of excitement for the future.
Adefemi, but then I'm wondering what the mood is like around there, especially with his deportation threat. He has promised to carry out the largest deportation in U.S. history. Can you give us an update on that?
Thank you very much, Temi Tokpe. As you said, that formed the cornerstone of his re-election, his ideas on the economy, but definitely his ideas on immigration. And naturally, in states like Florida, which are hugely diverse, a huge Latin community here, a huge Black community here, not specifically in West Palm Beach, but indeed the state of Florida. In areas like Miami, of course, you'll have a greater Latino presence there, and you can imagine that feelings are quite mixed. You will know that there are going to be many people who feel uneasy that the new president has spoken so harshly about immigration, and that how these mass deportations, tens of millions of people, the Trump administration says it will deport, and will focus on deporting in the very early stages of his administration. Now, not to say that he's not taking immigration seriously, but when we're looking at the number of illegal immigrants, I think the number is far smaller than 20-something million. It's probably between 3 to 7 million illegal immigrants. So if there is a real plan for this new administration to deport more than 20 million immigrants. That's clearly going to be people who have received their papers in the last 4 years under the Biden administration. People who are in process of getting their papers now. Those people are going to be at jeopardy. So we will be speaking across Florida to different institutes, different subsections of society to hear how they are preparing, how they feel about this new president and his ideas for immigration. Let us not forget that when you break down the electorate, Donald Trump did receive overwhelming support from Latino men. So it does show that there is a mixed feeling here, one of support, but clearly some of fear too.
A completely mixed bag, but you're doing great work out there, Adefemi Akinsoya, and thank you so much for all the reporting you're doing on the elections and for joining us this afternoon on Newsday.